Hello everyone! The clip you're about to hear is from one of our exclusive Patreon episodes on a recent horror release, and just like all of our other episodes, it might include major spoilers for said horror release, so don't listen to it if you haven't already seen it. You've officially been warned. And if you'd like to hear the full episode, just head on over to patreon.com/horrorqueers and subscribe today. Without further ado, here is your exclusive Patreon clip.
I mean, folks, if you have not watched this, we're both recommending it, so you should absolutely go and do that. Mm-hmm. But the thing I really like about this is that in some ways it's a possession film, but not. And it's a religious film, but it's not.
Yeah.
And the plot, much like Terrified, doesn't really go in a conventional sense. Like, I think you could argue the plot is not the strongest facet of this movie, but one of the things I really liked about it is that it never quite goes where you think it's going to go, and then it ends super nihilistic, and we have no less than 2 extremely graphic, horrifying child deaths.
Yes. I will say, so overall, this is a 4 out of 5. I'm recommending this. I will say, because a lot of my enjoyment comes from trying to figure all this stuff out, like I already said, but like... Mm-hmm. And I think it is a really good, because there was even a point where my husband was like, is this like a post-apocalyptic movie? Like, yes. Is this like, you'd be forgiven for thinking that. I don't think it is. It's just...
I mean, the world feels like it's ending by the end of this movie.
Sure. But I think it's still set in our world. Like, this isn't a different kind of reality, you know? No. But I think the movie plays everything so close to its chest until we get that exposition dump from Grandma in the middle of this movie. Mm-hmm. And I think from there forward, that's when the script starts to lose me a bit, to where like it all kind of, it doesn't peter out by the end. Like, again, I love the nihilistic ending, but it feels like Rogna has less of a handle on the script from that moment onward.
Yeah, even on a rewatch. So I've seen this twice, and I felt like the last act is the weakest, if only because there's less of a sense of uncertainty. Like, what the fuck is happening? Where is this going? Where, when, how? All the questions. And it feels like, okay, now we've actually got somebody who knows what they're doing in the Murda character, who's a former cleaner who has since retired, and Jimmy has brought the family to her. And she also gives a bit of an exposition dump. But I think for some reason, I thought the movie was going to stabilize and we were going to move towards a more traditional climax with this character. And instead, it's her and Pedro. And Pedro is kind of the least interesting character in the film for me. Not because he's bad per se, but because he's the one who's the easiest to understand. Like, he just wants his kids back. He's a devoted father, but also not great. And then he's very, very bad at listening to instructions.
Atlas Avenue. A long stretch of road that encompasses everything the city of Kennett Heights has to offer. Neon lights, traffic, crime, the hustle and bustle of everyday life, and the craziest of characters. My office was above it all. My name is James Locke, and I'm a PI.
Hello, Mr. J. How the hell you doing today?
Good, Edith. Nearly every year I have a new case. New people to meet, new clues to discover, and new problems to solve. But I do it the old-fashioned way. No technology. Nothing post-1950. Hell, I don't even listen to podcasts, but you should. Atlas Avenue Beat is a spoof of the film noir genre with goofy characters, tons of wordplay, and non-stop raunchy humor. There's also 3 whole seasons out right now with more on the way. Just search for Atlas Avenue Beat wherever you listen to podcasts or visit us online at bloody.fm.